Hello everyone, and welcome to today's session, Set It and Forget It, How SSB Consulting Built Once and Deployed to All. My name is Alvin Wong, and I will be the host for today's session. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce our presenters. Our main presenter will be Andrew Brody. Andrew is the CEO of SSB Consulting and is responsible for execution of SSB's strategic vision. With over 20 years in technology consulting, strategic business development, and entrepreneurship, Andrew is focused on SSB's growth and developing the solutions and practices that serve their clients. As CEO, Mr. Brody is in the unique position of having been integral to the development of the central intelligence and ticketing intelligence solutions that he will speak about today. In the past, Mr. Brody has held senior management and executive roles with Hitachi Consulting, Arthur Andersen, Slalom Consulting, and the Denver Center for the Performing Arts. He is a technical CEO and entrepreneur whose background is enabling complex data-driven solutions to meet companies' most demanding needs. He will be giving us an overview of SSB Consulting, as well as discuss how they enable their customers to make strategic data-driven decisions that lead to more effective sales and marketing. He'll also give us a live demonstration of the Central Intelligence Platform and provide an overview of how his business has benefited from working with Logi Analytics and deploying on Microsoft Azure. My name is Alvin Wong, a product marketing manager here at Logi Analytics, and I will be the host for this webinar. Now, a few production notes here. This session is being recorded, and the recording and the presentation slides will be made available after this session. In addition, there will be a Q&A session at the end, so please feel free, everyone, to enter in questions in the bottom right-hand corner of the WebEx window as we go along, and we will address those at the end of the presentation. And with that, Andrew, the floor is yours.
Introduction to the audience. I certainly appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate everyone taking time today to learn a little bit about SSB and learn how we've partnered with Logi Analytics to deliver our central intelligence solution, and how Logi Analytics has been certainly a great partner to SSB in the growth of our company. So with that, I'll get into the presentation a little bit. What does SSB do? SSB, we are a company founded in Big Five Tech Consulting. Myself, I worked at Arthur Andersen for many years, along with the other founding partners of our company, doing Y2K conversion projects, major systems integration projects, big data projects, revenue assurance, and along the lines of, we spend our time there focused on these major systems projects, and we founded SSB about 7 years ago in Denver, Colorado, as a result of wanting to be a little closer to the work that we do and be a little bit more hands-on as we went up the chain in management of our own company. Today, SSB has offices in Denver, Colorado, Nashville, Tennessee, and some full-time staff scattered across the country in different markets as well. Basically, our lines of business are management consulting, business intelligence, which is sort of our bread and butter. Everything we do focuses these days on data-driven results. You'll see that as a recurring theme of what I talk about. Part of that on the commercial consulting side, we do a lot of work in the Microsoft SharePoint stack. It's a good lens and a good way to deliver business intelligence into a corporate audience. And then what you'll see most of, and where we've embedded Logi Analytics and where we've OEM'd Logi Analytics, is in the central intelligence software as a service platform that we've been able to build on the Microsoft Azure cloud. I will go into more technical detail on how we've done that and exactly how we've embedded and partnered with Logi Analytics to build the world-class solution for professional sports and NCAA sports teams. Our vertical markets are sports and entertainment. As a result of me holding an executive position at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts, our company benefited by learning a lot about that industry, and you'll see we've been able to really penetrate that industry and develop some strong client relationships. We also work in retail, healthcare, the energy sector, and some other major commercial sectors such as manufacturing. So we're a data-driven company. Everything that we do is at the heart of data. We work with the Microsoft stack of technologies. We work with many other BI tools. I'm going to speak today largely about how our partnership with All20150409143105 Analytics has helped us build a SaaS platform that is industry-leading in sports and entertainment. Why do people hire SSB? We're a very hands-on company. We are, as I said, rooted in the Big Four consulting firms. We focus highly on client collaboration, and business intelligence is at the heart of everything that we do. As Alvin was kind enough to say, I'm a very technical, hands-on CEO, and I happen to be with a client today, and I'm helping them architect and design their first ever business intelligence data warehouse. And that's part of the key to why people hire SSB, is because even the leadership in the company is highly technical, and we work on projects. Today we have about 53 people on staff, to give you an idea of the size and scale of the business, and most of those people are experts in the technologies that we're going to talk about today. Outside of business intelligence, as I said, in the commercial sector, SharePoint tends to pair really well with business intelligence, so we do a lot of work around SharePoint and enterprise SharePoint deployments. And lastly, the other reason people hire us, we've adapted and trained our entire staff on the Agile methodology. We believe in getting results fast. We believe in having strong contributors on our team, strong contributors to our client projects, and people that know the business side as well as the technical side. We have 4 CPAs, 2 former Arthur Andersen, 1 former Ernst & Young CPA on staff that are business intelligence experts that help us rapidly deploy solutions. And you'll see that with Logi Analytics, we can really rapidly deploy these solutions that we built on our SaaS platform. What do we do for our clients? That was a little bit of a why people hire SSB, but getting into what do we do for our clients. When it gets down to data-driven results, it's not just about data warehousing. It's about process. A lot of management consulting goes into that. How do you use data? How is data a roadblock for your organization? What analytics do you want? Asking those questions of systems. We're all good at collecting data. We're all good at saving data. It's how do we use the data where our management consulting team comes in. We help you define your key performance indicators, develop rich data visualizations around that. We are experts in data management. How does the data flow from one system to the other? How do you clean it? How do you make sure it's accurate? How do you make sure it's timely? How do you securely deploy that using something like SharePoint or a custom portal to your audience and security determine that the right people see the right information at the right time. They have easy access to it to do their jobs. How are we enabling the knowledge worker? And that's really what we think we do. We enable the knowledge worker to use data to effectively optimize and operationalize the businesses. And then lastly, central intelligence, which is the solution we'll go into a little bit later on, which with a live demo, is our SaaS platform, and that's what we do for the professional sports world. To give you an idea of who we work for, on the left-hand side of the screen, you see basically our consulting business, and the screen is organized in such a way that the left-hand side is our commercial consulting clients. You see some major brands that many of you will be familiar with out there in the healthcare, energy sectors, and retail. On the right-hand side, for the sports fans out there, you will notice there are some fairly noticeable labels in the collegiate and professional sports world who use our software. and who use the SaaS platform that we've built using the Microsoft Azure cloud for the back-end Microsoft Stack BI technology and the Logi Analytics OEM version of Logi Info Studio to develop and deliver the front-end reports for our customers. A big part of what we do, because of our expertise in data management, data integration, has to do with how do we integrate the data sources on the back end, right? How do we move data? How do we deduplicate customer data? How do we clean and cleanse, augment customer data? How do we ensure that operational data ties out at a level that ensures CFOs are happy that the end result is exactly right all of the time? So data management and things that we work with is very integral to our business, and it's part of the heavy lifting that our team does and that our support team does. And this is just some examples of the systems we work with. We're one of the largest data warehouse providers that works with Ticketmaster, for instance. We certainly, downstream, we're feeding information out through the Logi Analytics platform. So happy to answer any questions about this as they come in. For the technical people on the phone call, how do we do it? Conceptually, organizations go out and they buy multiple systems that they need to execute business strategies. Things like, in the sports world, a ticketing system is mandatory, a concession system, a merchandise system, email marketing system, a CRM system for your season's ticket holders, your suite holders, your sponsors, things like that. All those systems are necessary, but none of them were built to work together. And none of them were really built to manage a single view of the customer because they're all just built by separate vendors and serve a single purpose, and they're very transactional in nature. We tend to work on the analytical side and the business operations side. In the middle, in central intelligence, basically what it is it's a enterprise data warehouse. It's also an analytical dimensional data warehouse. And there's our master data management layer, where with our master data management layer, we verify email address, deduplicate consumer information, and most importantly, we create a persistent key for our customer across all their siloed systems. So not only is our back end enabling the analytics that you will see, but some of what you won't be able to see through the demo is how do we fulfill downstream systems through our API. So we've developed a rich API using Microsoft Azure's API Manager to feed the downstream systems, such as a segment. You see the segment builder here for email marketing. You may want to market to all male sports fans over 40 years old. That would be a segment that could be queried easily now through our API from an email marketing system. Direct mail, social. You may want to feed all of your ticket holders into CRM with their ticket history, and I'll show you some information how we track that kind of information. You might want to feed loyalty survey information. So this is how our data warehouse is much more rich than just an analytics and reporting platform, but it's also an API layer that fulfills downstream systems. Why do our clients hire us? We're very results-driven. All of our customers want a better, more comprehensive view of the customer. They want to eliminate the silos, that persistent key master data management, a fundamental piece of that technology. High-quality engagements, very, very talented team that we have at SSB, able to deploy solutions very rapidly. We give them a better view of the customer lifetime value. We enhance their reporting. A lot of organizations, whether it's sports or it's in the commercial or industry kind of side of things, live in sort of the Excel paralysis analysis paradigm where the Excel spreadsheet reigns king and people are not sharing information. They don't have one version of the truth. What we do is we break down that barrier, make information very consumable, and we get people working from the same page. part of that is very strategic in that instead of debating whether or not, the director of marketing is right or the director of sales is right, they work from the same set of numbers. It's a nuance, but it's very important in terms of organizational behavior downstream that they're working from one version of the truth. And then, the one people always like to talk about is what's the return on an investment? If I do this, how does it pay for itself? Well, if you reduce your customer file by 30%, your marketing guy might say, no, don't do that. But if you're making it more accurate by reducing it by 30% and removing duplicates, you're actually messaging to people in the marketplace much better, and that's a significant improvement. We've had one major college athletics program identify over $350,000 in revenue opportunities through our software, and one of our clients achieved a 730% ROI with 210% click-through rate increase, a 95% decrease in opt-outs, and a 90% decrease in spam complaints because of the technology we deploy on the back end and the analytics that they're able to have. And then we had a major sports team increase their season's ticket renewals online by over 400%, which had a major impact in renewals, but also cost savings by not having to have a rep do those renewals. The other thing, lastly, to say here is with our SaaS platform, typically our clients will have the ability to redeploy it or reuse one full-time equivalent person to do more what we like to call smart work rather than just, putting together Excel spreadsheets repetitively over and over and over again for the same purpose. We replace that with smart work, so it's not necessarily a decrease in a job. It's the redeployment of somebody to go do smart work. Our unique approach, especially in this marketplace, is that we have packaged and built our ETL processes as software. We've packaged and built our clean data, that's our master data management deduplication layer, as software, and then our data warehouse in SaaS service in sports and entertainment vertical is basically softwareized into very simplified, industry-focused data models with the business rules that we know all of our customers have. That allows us to rapidly deploy this stuff, allows us to leverage Logi Analytics for the front-end BI end users, and then also fulfill through our API downstream systems like CRM and email. A little bit about why SSB chose Logi Analytics, and I was fundamental in making that decision. Logi Analytics has a very strong OEM offering to embed their software inside of your software as a service platform, or even just inside of your organization, but it's a very strong offering there. The HTML5 output that is native to Logi Analytics supports a BYOD device approach. There's native modes for mobile, tablet, full screen size that makes report development extremely easy. There's support for the personalization of reports and dashboards. And in the next bullet point, the strong tokenization of reports with metadata, build once, deploy many, is probably the strongest I've ever seen in my 25 years of building data warehouses, where we have a full metadata layer that we use to configure how a report is deployed to an end user. And Logi Analytics, the tokenization process, allows you to variably configure how a report reacts depending on what person's logged in, what customer's logged in, what end user role is logged in. And it's very strong. And that had a lot to do with our choice to go with Logi. And then obviously there's some very strong self-service reporting and analysis and dashboard building that can be done. And we like that as well. So lastly, for why did we pick Microsoft Azure? Most of our staff is very, when we started this, was very conversant in the Microsoft BI stack. So SQL Server, SQL integration services, SQL analysis services, SQL reporting services, and Microsoft has done a tremendous job of vertically integrating their cloud offering the way they have their on-premise back office offering. It is very, very similar to the way they've integrated it. They provide tremendous horizontal and vertical scalability. There's very strong networking support for creating point-to-point networks and VPNs. A lot of the solutions that we develop for clients, we have our network on Azure point-to-point configured to attach to client networks, and that process takes us less than about an hour to do on a setup. So it's extremely efficient. And then one of the strong benefits of Azure, that I think from a revenue and sort of recognition standpoint of Microsoft, is the ability to have a master enterprise agreement with Azure and with Microsoft. And then when clients, if you have single-tenant client solutions, you can actually have your clients' accounts become sub-accounts to your master enterprise agreement. And Microsoft really likes that setup, and there's a lot of business benefits to that. And again, I can't get into everything that Azure does in a brief webinar, but if you're interested in cloud-based solutions, the infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service offerings that are on Azure allowed us to build central intelligence and the client list that I showed earlier in less than 2 years. So very rapid client growth, very rapid solution growth, very high degree of compliance and security, serving these customers. So now with the boring PowerPoint part of the presentation, we're going to move into a bit of a demonstration of how some of the reports and some of the things we've been able to do on using Logi Analytics. Alvin, can we see my screen? I just want to double check.
Yes, I do see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the confirmation. So this is a typical baseball team type of a report. This is faked up data, so nothing you see here is real, but it is the basis of real reporting. And this is a fairly standard-looking report that anybody would want, very tabular in nature. It's hierarchical on the left. You have on the left-hand side homestands and series and embedded logos, but you've got very nice output, very readable, very configurable with HTML5, CSS, jQuery, all native kind of capabilities for Logi Analytics. And in this particular report, what you see is primary ticketing, so a Ticketmaster type of system, StubHub, which is secondary market, retail, which is obviously your merchandise and stuff like that, and then concessions. And this is bringing together a comprehensive view of event performance for a typical baseball club or sports franchise. So it's a one sample report. One of our another report. One of the things that our customers are very interested in is how are email marketing campaigns and how are campaigns affecting their audience. And so we have a report we call the Net Promoter Survey results, and they can see how they're performing. Basically detractors, passives, and promoters on this type of a report. This is information that is critical to the operationalizing of their sports and entertainment industry, but they have at the click of a mouse that would take hours daily for somebody to do. So I'd say most people in that industry aren't actually doing this on a daily basis unless they have our technology or similar technology. Going into some trends. One of the very cool things about web analytics that we've been able to pull together, looking at just different timelines and charts, content strategies, devices hitting the website, locations of users hitting our customer websites, You can see your referral sources, things like that, average engagement. So really giving them a nice dashboard, time slice of their web analytics. This is 1 day's performance. I can change the time slice to week, month. Very sophisticated reporting, very easy for end users to consume. Getting slightly more into the visual side of things, we've got the renewals dashboard, where we have sort of big key performance indicators at the top, but we also have sales renewal trend lines, nice hover over features. We're able to actually dynamically look at whether we want to look at revenue or change that particular widget to quantity, and we want to look by day, or we just want to look on a sort of running basis. So asynchronously, Ajax updating part of the dashboard, for the end user. We're looking at different very visual clues on how their renewals are performing against goals. Into sort of bar charts, not to be misstated, but these hoverovers are very configurable. They're any data token served into the reporting layer can then be displayed and configured on these charts. So here we see quantities, revenue, goal amounts, things like that. We see actually, persons' names in this case, and those people happen to be reps in this case. So we can change it again, update just that widget to go from revenue to quantity, renewals for game days, and different trending analysis. Very, very visual, very nice, rapidly deployable. And then obviously I like to show this, the tabs. So again, key performance indicators at the top, multiple ways of adjusting your widgets, and organizing the layouts of these dashboards, which is obviously putting critical information at the fingertips of people in our industry. So and how sales reps are performing, and you turn series off, you can turn them on just by clicking on them. So if you just want to see new stuff, you can see really quickly adjust you can really quickly adjust what's going on an individual graph and make it sort of analytical in nature, pseudo-analytical. And of course, anything I've shown throughout this entire presentation, you can export to Excel or PDF for printing purposes. So I'm not a big fan of printing things that look much better on the screen, but if that's a requirement, it can certainly be met. One of my favorite reports that I want to show everybody here is going to be the heat map, and this is basically how sports teams use our heat mapping technology, which Logi Analytics and Logi Info has .NET or Java extensions that we can use to build a report. And this is a Logi Analytics report. It's very customized. It's something that a traditional reporting platform would struggle to support. And we're able to build this using Logi Analytics and the .NET extensions. And not only can we see the sections, but we can also drill into it using some techniques with jQuery and whatnot, but also supported inherently in the Logi Info platform. Drilling in some detail, we might be able to see somebody's past history, and we can see their season ticket performance. So we're going from a stadium level right down to an individual person's level of detail with the information we're presented on the screen. So very rich use case for Logi Info and how extensible the platform really is. We obviously have a little CSS cleanup to do on this particular screen inside of our demo. And then the last report I'm going to show is actually, I'm going to show you two more things over here in Salesforce. And one of the things that we want to people to understand from this webinar today is that not only are we delivering a portal such as this with our information in it, but Logi actually natively supports embedding content securely And when I say securely, I mean very securely into other kinds of solutions. So I want to show you guys how we've embedded Logi Info content into Salesforce through our API layer. This data doesn't live in Salesforce. It's called asynchronously. We're able to pull up a report right here. This report comes from Logi Analytics. The data is in the data warehouse on Azure, not in Salesforce.com, and it's embedded in here through the API, making systems integrations where you have inquiry type information much easier to do, because you can put that inquiry information into a data warehouse. You can put that reporting load onto Logi Analytics, and then you can securely embed it into other solutions in a very rapid and fairly easy manner. Another example I will pull up just to make this hit home is under ticketing reporting. I will show you, excuse me, may not be logged in here. See if I can get logged in here, sorry. So I apologize for that little blip. It had to do with the fact that I queued everything up before the webinar, and I lost my login. So hopefully you can all see my screen again. Here's an example for a client where, again, mocked up data, but we're taking their sellout strategy report and seeing an entire season on the screen and basically looking at their entire breakdown of ticket sales for the season by event using Logi Analytics and embedding our platform. You can see the Report Explorer, Segment Digital menu items inside of Salesforce through the secure API. We also go over and look at that exact same report through our portal, which is exposing the Logi Analytics reports. But it's all the point of me showing this is to show everyone on the call, not only can you create this content inside of a Logi Analytics portal framework.net or Java portal framework, you can also securely embed it and send it for consumption to other systems very, very easily, making some other knowledge worker who may spend their entire day in a CRM system much more efficient because they don't have to toggle between different systems. And so you may have executives who only want to use reporting. You may have people, for instance, in the sports and entertainment industry working in the box office that live and die inside of the CRM system, for instance. So that I will come back to the presentation, and I believe that's the end of the slideshow. And Alvin, it's over to you for questions and that I can answer.
Thank you, Andrew, for a great presentation there. What I'd like to do is actually give a quick overview of Logi Analytics before we get to the questions and answers. Here at Logi Analytics, we want to create a smarter world by making analytics accessible to everyone. And in order to achieve this, we go to market with a portfolio of products that address the needs of both technology teams and business users. Logi Info, on the left, empowers IT and developers with a rapid development platform to create custom analytic applications and embedded analytics with the needed governance and security. Logi Vision, on the right, is a visual analytics application for the work group, for business users to easily connect the data, discover insights, and socialize insights in a collaborative way. What you saw and heard from Andrew today is Logi Info. which is our platform to embed a wide range of self-service analytics to end users, including dashboards, reports, plus the ability to author content on their own as well. It is architected for the web, so it's easy to deploy and scale. It also supports a rapid development approach, so you can get to market faster. Content is easily embedded and white-labeled with flexible security and deep support for multi-tenancy. Now, you can choose to deploy info on-premises or in the cloud. And for application providers like SSB, our approach is to enable you to deliver more of the capabilities your customers are demanding and deliver these capabilities faster than you would compared to either traditional business intelligence approaches or building on your own. Okay, so you can create faster with our rapid development platform, embed these capabilities deeper in order to create engaging end-user experiences, and we are also a partner for your ongoing success with our dedicated OEM practice. Okay. Now, with our Logi Vision product, we are reimagining visual analytics and data discovery for the workgroup. Here, business users can connect to their own data sources, such as spreadsheets, corporate databases, and cloud applications. Vision guides users through visual analysis with a recommendation engine that suggests best fit visualizations. Users can collaborate on insights through social sharing mechanisms, such as tagging, rating, and favorites. Logi has been very successful to date. We've grown 600% in the last 5 years and serve over 1,600 customers, some of whose logos I'm sure you recognize. We are based in the U.S. with international offices in the UK and Sweden. One of our technology partners is Microsoft, particularly around the Azure platform. So with both Logi Info and Logi Vision certified on Microsoft Azure. Both IT and business users can now independently provision their own collaborative self-service analytics environment on demand running on the Azure cloud platform. And with this new certification, you can go to the Azure Marketplace to deploy pre-configured certified images for both Logi Info and Logi Vision in minutes. You can do that if you already have licenses of Info or Vision immediately, or for a small hourly fee, you can spin up Logi Vision as well. Okay, and you can learn more today on our website as well as on the Microsoft Azure website as well. So with that, we will move into Q&A, and I'll just take a moment here for some additionals to come in while I scan to see what questions we've already got. All right, so let's see. So we've got a few questions coming in here. For Andrew on the line, I'll ask you this question. This question comes from Cody. If you have separate customers who have specific report formatting or data element requirements, how do you go about providing customized reporting for each client? Does this require the creation of multiple reports, or can you customize a master definition?
So Cody, that's an excellent question. And this comes into the answer is you can create one master report. And the way that is done is through the strong tokenization process that is available to you in Logi Info. And basically what we've done is we create a metadata layer that says this configuration for this customer shows this report element, or it formats a certain report element in a certain way. And using conditions and tokenization, you can have completely different report formats and outputs of a report based off of one master definition. And so a good example of that would be we do a lot of work in the NCAA. And NCAA athletic directors, they like to see sports reports for football, basketball, baseball, any sport where they sell tickets, right? Hockey. And basically all those reports have slightly different variations. And we have many different NCAA clients. And across all those sports, you can imagine the sports master report actually serves up about, in our environment, about 150 different versions of it, but it's one master report, and it's all enabled through the metadata configuration layer. and the tokenization process.
All right, thanks, Andrew. We've got another question from Raj Kumar here, and I'll take this one. The question is, do we need to have consumer data on the cloud for using Logi Analytics? And the answer to that question is no. And in fact, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit here with Logi Analytics. We provide software, and that software can actually be hosted anywhere on premises or in the cloud. And our products can connect to your data wherever it may be, whether it's within the same network or if it's in the cloud. So we can definitely we do not require that your data be stored in the cloud to utilize our products. Okay.
Alvin, I was going to say, that moreover, a single report or single dashboard could be sourcing with the data sources in Logi info from an on-premise solution, info from Google Analytics, info from Facebook, info from Twitter, through the multiple different data source connections, all into one seamless dashboard if you so wanted to.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Andrew. So within the same, let's say, dashboard, you can have multiple visualizations sourcing from different data sources. And in fact, we also support data blending as well. So if you wanted to actually have a single visualization that blended data from multiple places, we can support that also. Okay. And one last question here for Andrew. For your customers, how long does it take to get up and running on Central Intelligence, which is your product? And I'm sure Logi and Azure very well play into that story as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the time that we sign up a sports client to the time that they are running fully operational, takes about 1 month, and the reason being is 95% of that effort goes into the business rules inherent in their ticketing operations. Every single client does that slightly differently, but if they all did it the same, it would only take the Logi Analytics part and the Azure part takes about 2 or 3 days, and that's essentially for initial ETL processing time.
All right. It looks like that's all the questions we've got. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us today for a great presentation and a live demonstration as well. And I want to thank everyone who joined us today. And again, the recording and the slides will be available to you within 2 business days. And feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions. Thank you.